She is a former professional football player. She has fought for the Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now she's going to be making her bare knuckle debut all the way from Thailand. Tai Emery. Tai, first of all, you have been through quite an adventure. Like we all have, 2020, but you got to Thailand and you've just been training, and now it comes out you're officially going to be part of Bareknuckle FC and part of the fun over there. Talk to me, just after all the journey you've been on, what's it like to get that call and know what show exactly you're about to be a part of?
To be honest, I thought it was the biggest hoax where, I've literally been slugging it out since I was denied entry with LA. And then, I was over here in Thailand, COVID happened. I was meant to go and guest speak at a retreat in Bali. And, so obviously the world went to shambles, but I just decided to commit. There was some sort of, I don't know, I guess a vision or a dream or just that pull, like that magnetic pull that said to just stay. And I've literally slugged it out, slept on concrete floors in Thai gyms, like just to learn from them. And so when it came to, after I was here 2019 November, that's a long time. And there's a lot of different tests that can come from anyone living in a different country, especially a third world. I thought it was I thought it was a joke, and I thought someone was having me on. And I think managers and people love to fluff things up, and that's not my style. So in the end, I just remember kind of getting a bit short with them. I was like, look, mate, I was like, if you're going to take me to the playground, take me to the fucking playground. And I was like, because I don't need to hear any of this other shit. I don't care about the contracts. I don't care about any of that. If this is going to happen, this is what I've wanted. This is what I've wanted to manifest. I think 2 or 3 weeks before, I'd talked to my mouth guard sponsor, and I said, he's like, so what's your plans? And I went, I want to fight bare knuckles. I was like, I want to fight bare knuckle in the show. I want to do that. I don't know why. So when it kind of came to fruition, I thought, Holly, I just talked about this. Who is having me on, So then they put me in a group message with David just to make sure that I, could see that it was real. And then slowly I started to realize that this was real. I shouldn't, Honestly, I'm just so happy. I think it's such a good promotion. I think it's the change that fighting needs. I also think it shows, just like similar to LFL, it's taking that element and it's creating it more into entertainment. Now, this shows, to me, it shows someone is understanding of moving with the times and creating something that's got this traditional sense, because we all know bare knuckles has been around since the beginning of time. There's the oldest photos of, we've got bare knuckles has been around since forever. So to have someone take such a traditional sport and then mix it with this entertainment, I really I applaud that and I respect that. And now to be a part of that family, like, what an honor. Especially for me, I'm coming from American football. I'm coming from LFL. Now, even for that, like, that's an entertainer sport. So here I am getting thrown into another new lot of like new grounds. Like, this is open for the taking, whether people want to admit that or not. I think this is going to come down to some different sort of game planning for war. And I love the fact that really right now they're building a women's division. Like, they're wanting to build the women's division. For me, I was one of the first wave of female electricians. I was literally the first female electrical contractor of Australia. I'm the first female thermographer in the world and the youngest. So I know that I've always been on the tip of this wave. So to know that I can also help to build something for the women's division and women in sport and something like different for that, I'm just get so passionate, and I think when you've got like a passion and a good intent behind like your job, what's going to go wrong? Like, what's going to happen? Good things is like going to happen for that. I'm like, honestly, I'm so excited to be a part of the Bareknuckle family. it's open. We've got, obviously, I feel like they're pulling over lots of big names. Now, kind of what's that telling us if big names are leaving these other name promotions that have been so stable? Why are they coming over? They obviously, money is involved, obviously reputation, and obviously there's a whole heap of bullshit that we don't really know about, but for some reason people are coming over, you know. But I think it's time also for them to build, they want their own characters from the start. Like I've been a footballer, and I haven't been a part of any other big fight promotion. Obviously I've been fighting professionally here in Thailand for Muay Thai, but for the big names, like we've got PFL, Bellator, UFC, and bare knuckles and one championship. I don't know. I think it's time for them, obviously building their own characters. And for me, for coming in, like I get to be from scratch, their little baby little bare knuckle girl, you know. I think that's even in itself is kind of cool. They've got a lot of names who, for me, up and coming from my transition from football into MMA and into fighting. Christina Freya, Beck Rawlings, like I think even, who did Christina Freya fight? And she was an Invicta girl, Priscilla?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
I was there and got to watch her beat Cheyenne Blismus at the time. Now Cheyenne Byes, now Cheyenne Blismus. I got to see her in their Invicta fight, and I remember going up and talking to her and being like, "Yeah, you can see something different in that girl too." So it's cool to see that bare knuckles has given like these girls that may not have the stigma of, oh yes, martial artist. No, bitch, they're a fucking fighter. Like they're a warrior. And I think that this promotion is really like respecting that sort of element that's missing out of what seems to be like, I don't know, is the white picket fence kids all of a sudden taking over like the poor man's sport? Like, give us something, guys, give us something. No, but I don't know. I think it's cool to see like all these other badass girls who I got to, when I'm just coming over from football, and I'll be honest, I was studying everyone. That's what I do. I sit back and I got to be a part of so many UFC camps, PFL camps, like all these people who I helped. And I don't think they realized that what they were giving me is something money can't buy. I got to see downfalls, things that I could adapt for myself. And yeah, I got to also meet these people through football where maybe I wasn't, a threat then as well. So they could actually have a guard down and know who I am as a person. So hopefully that doesn't change now that, we're going to be beside each other. And I'd hope not, because like nothing should change until we're like inside the ring, and everyone's different for that spec. But yeah, it's really exciting to like be able to have known a couple of people along the way, and here I am brushing shoulders. And I knew that day was coming, and maybe a lot of people did or didn't want that, but one thing for sure is I know my hard work and I know my heart, and also I don't quit. Like I'm not going to quit. And I've always said this, people can say whatever they want, and I always turn to them and go, I know who I am and I know where I'm going. So, and even though at the time I'm like, I don't really know where I'm going, but like, of course, like deep down, like a few people would have that silent moment and connect with you and go, yeah, you do. And I'd kind of smile like, yeah, I really do know where I'm going, like, so it's cool. It's like that day has come, like, yeah, I know where I'm going. Now it's gloves are off, baby.
Tai, what do you think it is that the women of, what do you think that you and the other women in bare knuckle have in common? Because let's be honest, let's say it like it is. Paige Van Sant, she's a tough fighter, but most people would say tough fighter. We know how she brands herself. Beck Rawlings, tough as nails too. We know how she markets herself. I've noted Pearl Gonzalez. There's a pattern, right? I don't think that I'm breaking news right there. What do you think it is about your particular group that just seems to be able to connect with the fan base? And let's just say it bluntly, you guys are doing something that the men don't have available to them. You're able to market and create this just bridge that you have fans who want to join the fan sites. You guys are able to promote yourselves in a way that, quite bluntly, I'll be honest, it's a very unique niche, and it's maybe not for every woman fighter out there, but your particular group, it just seems like bare knuckle is really tapping into it. And I think that if anything, what we're finding out is that the fans show up specifically to see you guys. You've built that connection with them. What do you think it is that you guys are doing differently?
Well, obviously we're using both sides. I think for us fighters, especially for females, one thing that is in common between each of us is we have found the balance between divine feminine and divine masculine. Now, everybody has both of these energies within their souls. So if we're someone who's able to use this for financial gain, it's not even about the money, it's about freedom. And people can, I think a lot of people be like, oh, this makes me feel a certain way. I don't agree. Okay, little Sarah Jane, like, all right, like, good on you, mate. But there's something that even deep down for them, like, they have a jealousy, and it's a jealousy of freedom of expression. So I think each one of us girls has understands the game and understands like the financial gain of it too. And really, for me, that's freedom. So if we're able to, for me, I've never spewed up my food. I've never willingly gone without a meal. You know, I've got a healthy lifestyle. I've never, you know, like a healthy person. That also shows like within my body. If I can get a praise for that, where people, you know, people do, they admire those things about people as well as being able to beat someone up. But for me, I'm also like intelligent too. So I don't know, where's someone going to come at me now? Like, I apologize that I've got all the cards, and I'm going to use those cards to, yeah, stand on a platform and be able to like motivate the people beside me and motivate people to just express themselves. Now, that doesn't mean that I want little girls going out there and, you know, posing on the ocean. But if that makes like another woman feel good and uplifted, then go get it, girl. Like, and I think that's what a lot of us promoters, it's like someone can bag you and we're like, we don't give a shit. Like, go be happy. Go find what makes you happy. So I think they're honestly, I think they're smart. I read one comment, it was like, another person to the strippogram, and I kind of laughed because I thought, I'm probably smarter than this guy. Like, he's probably never even run his own business, or I don't know. Like, for me, I have so many other things, so I'm not really, if somebody wants to attack me for certain things, then you know, what a sad little life. Like, let's talk it out, figure out what your like real problem is, and let's heal you. So I don't know, honestly, I think it's smart of them to go for that different niche. Now, I can apply this to football. In LFL, it's a different uniform. Now, you're not going to have every woman being able to play and feel comfortable and confident in that uniform.
And for fans who don't know, real quick, to confirm, when we're talking LFL, we're talking the Lingerie Football League, where you were a player for several seasons. And so, you know, people know what it looks like. Google it. The outfits are obviously, you know, not a lot of fabric. But, you know, so I just want fans to know, like, when I say pro football player, you and those girls went out there and you guys, you know, you guys play to win. Yes, you're wearing an outfit, but talk to me about that, though.
Yeah, so I think for the same thing, it brings a different character. And obviously for bare knuckles, they're wanting a different character. Now, you're going to find all of the girls that they're approaching are obviously of the same sort of vibe and that same sort of, you know, frequency, where they've got like a, you get me? Like, there's that little element of fuck you. Like, there has to be. If I'm like that, then I bloody well know that every single other girl who has been approached has got that little bit like of rat race, little mutt, little mongrel. Like, there's got to be something else in there. So I think that shows, like, for the bare knuckles, maybe you need to have that little bit of hood rat, gangster. You get me? Like, hey, I didn't come from the best upbringing. I don't know how everyone else's is, but I know that environment can really like affect a person. And for me, I know that like this show, for me, I'm just like, yeah, we made it. Not just me, like we all made it. For every kid who's in child support, being orphaned off, like had no parents. Like for me, I'm like, yes, like a promotion wasn't just like, oh, she says the F word too many times, or oh, she has an OnlyFans. And you're just like, okay, you're looking at like certain things that are making you like feel a bit like uncomfortable, but you're also like overlooking all of the things that I've had to overcome, and all of the things that I have done. So yeah, I think Bareknuckles is approaching characters who have that little bit of a FU.
I got it. We could probably talk, and you and I have talked for a very long time. So, you know, for those who don't know, yes, Tai, you're probably one of my best friends on the scene, and I'm very happy for you. And one of the things we could talk about a lot, I'm going to try to condense it a little bit so we could hit a lot of different points that I want fans to know about you. First off, to go back to it, you are still a licensed electrician. Like if you wanted to go back to that business, you could leave the gym and go back to work tomorrow. That's correct, right?
Yep, at any moment.
Now, here's the thing. There's levels to this business. So, for example, yes, there is a mom and pop electrician. Hey, the lights aren't turning on in my house. You are a lot more advanced than that. Can you talk to me about what exactly you are trained to do that your, let's just say it, average Joe electrician necessarily isn't?
So I can work in high voltage scenes. This works from Queensland Rail, out in the mines. What I've done is ran $1 million projects for Queensland Rail, where we did upgrades of the platforms and the switchboards there. We're working with also telemetry systems, the signals, the safeties, all fail-safe programs. Honestly, I got some of the best training for myself and really allowed myself to grow and evolve as a person and be able to attack a project in the most safest manner, as well as like just doing it to a cost efficiency and working in huge teams. That's one thing I really liked working in the railway, was like you've always got like your brother beside you. Outside of that, I advanced and went into thermography. Now I'm working with FLIR systems. So what that's doing, the camera allows me to see where faults are and hotspots, because electricity is frequency, frequency is vibration, vibration is heat. So I can go onto any job site, whether it be mine all the way through to your pubs, looking at the electrical systems, and being able to find like capacitors that aren't working, certain hotspots that just need tightening. And being a third party and being able to give these reports in that. So obviously it's something I love. I love being an electrician. I love that I got to do that sort of life. But I also know that every single day for that decade that I worked, there was something else inside me that, you know, I knew I was working towards. For me, hell, I was getting an apprenticeship just so that I could feed myself and feed my sister, you know. So what started out as something like, okay, I'm really smart and for some reason I'm good at this. Oh, well, let's go, you know. And I've got a really big conscience, which I think you need when you're being a tradesman, because you need to have like attunement to fine detail and knowing safety and not wanting to ever kill, you know, you can kill people with electricity. So yeah, I loved my job. Honestly, I loved my job, but there was just always something that sort of was missing for me, and I found that through sport again. You know, I thought growing up having no money and, you know, missing a million meals, that money would fix everything, but it doesn't. Like, it can help give you freedom and freedom of expression, but I think there's something so much more when your soul is rich. And hell, I've literally slept on like coaches' couches, in their basements, in gyms, like on the floors. And yeah, I did it really tough, and I knew I could have quit and gone back to being an electrician, but you can't quit when you know that there's something like calling you, you know. So yeah, maybe for me, I did it the long way, and that's where people kind of can look at my age, and for me, I think, okay, buddy, but I'm not from a position where mum and dad are going to look after me when all this is said and done. I'm going to have to look like I've always had to look after myself. I've looked after myself since I was 8 years old. So I think for me, it was always also fail-safe. Like it's a fail-safe system that I've got a trade. And for anyone that has a trade or a degree, they know that that's always there. You can always use that and always fall back on that. So maybe for me going into this now, like I don't have any worries. Like for me, it's still do or die. And there's like, I'm still from nothing. So people like, everyone's like, this is my all, it has to work. Well, then you've still got that element of fear. And I don't think you can go into these sports with any fear. I don't think you can go into like anything with fear because you can smell fear. Like you can literally smell fear. In the football locker rooms, I would not go near certain players because I'd be like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, ugh, I wouldn't even breathe near them. And I know that sounds horrible, but that is contagious. Fear is contagious. So I don't want to be sniffing that. I don't want that around me. And honestly, thank God I'm an electrician. Thank God I did something. I love it. It also has helped me to approach everything in a different manner. You know how to budget, you know how to work as a team, you know how to calculate things. Electricity is amazing.
You know what? I think anyone who's ever turned lights on can tell you, yes, we agree. But a couple other little ones. Lingerie football. I think when people Google you, that's one of the top things that comes up. First off, you're from Australia. Is American football even big over there? I think that surprises me. Shouldn't you guys have, lingerie rugby over there?
They will never have lingerie rugby in my home country. If Australia all of a sudden has lingerie rugby, we know that the pigs are flying, okay? The pigs are flying. American football got brought over more, especially with LFL, and it's the same year. I'm pretty sure that's when they did a deal and they brought over where they'd start playing, I think, 1 in 4 games on Channel 7. So I know that NFL was going from country to country, and they also do exhibition matches like every, X amount of years in different countries as well. So I think just like soccer and every other sport, I know that each sport is trying to still promote it in other countries and take over. Now throughout Brisbane, I know, and through probably more the major cities, because obviously the small towns, we're going to promote our own. But in a lot of the cities, they have all leagues going and running, and it's actually a huge big thing. And the Australian girls and the Australian guys are the Outback team. They're going and competing on a world level as well. So I had a lot of the girls from LFL, they went and made the Australian team and got to compete on a world scale. So yeah, American football is like taking over. It's infectious.
In lingerie football, just how hard are you guys hitting each other? I know you guys are throwing the ball as best you can and catching it, but when you talk about those outfits and then actually trying to tackle another woman, how hard are you guys going?
As hard, like, dude, think roller derby, think Miss Congeniality, Miss America pageant, think like UFC, bare knuckles, think street, think all of that, because that's exactly what it is, while at the same time still trying to play football. It is probably, I've gotten hurt more in playing football like LFL than what I have in any of my fights. Like it's there's so much passion, and for women, we take everything so personal. Like for me, my only job was to tackle someone, and just how personal a girl would take it, to a point where you're like, dude, you remember we're playing football, right? Like, what the hell? Most of my injuries, like I would finish a tackle, be stuck in the walls if this was an indoor game, and then a girl would always come over and be like smashing a knee into me. I've had a rib popped out in the game. I was like, okay, let's get back in. I've had my nipples almost ripped off. Like it's, yeah. It's
how the heck does that happen under the pads? Like I'm a guy and I can imagine that. Like for girls, like what?
No,
Oh,
it's like a nipple twisting, but also like you're holding and driving. So as where you would do it for a jersey, you're just ripping skin, twisting and lifting up.
you know, Ty, Tom Brady doesn't have that problem in the NFL. That you guys are no joke. You know what?
Honestly, it's work.
I think that's wild. Ty, I think a lot of fans, if you browse your Instagram, you are not shy about it. You have a fan site. You tease a lot of photos. Some of them can't be posted on Instagram, but you know that. My way of asking you this question, and I'm pretty sure I know your answer. You know, they say, you know, the internet, it's out there, it lives forever. You are a very confident person. I think that if anyone worked to look amazing like you guys do, I would take as many photos as I can and be proud of them. Do you ever think about one day when you're older, though, you know, maybe you're not as just, you know, in shape and, oh man, there's just all these naked pictures of me out there, stuff like that, or showing, you know, more skin than normal?
I think forever I'm going to be proud that I was able to get my body to look like a weapon. I think the journey to even be that confident and to, I always want people to feel beautiful, you know, like, and whether I know that sometimes I can have an effect of bringing huge insecurities out in people. And I forget that it's not a normal thing to be in a topless photo. I forget that because I'm like, oh, it's just so beautiful, you know, like look at this scenery and oh, look at my body. Oh, wow, we did a great job. So I really forget that the societal norms aren't, you know, to the standards of how I brought myself up, I guess. So no, I don't think I should ever be ashamed of anything like that. I hope that my children, if to ever have any, or you know, when once and if I ever do have a man, you know, claim me as his wife, I hope that he can know that I did everything possible to make sure that, you know, our family wouldn't have no food and would always have somewhere to sleep and always have the electricity on. And I hope that they can see through all of the stigma of other people's insecurities and backlash or talking, that they can see how proud I was to just in every moment use every tool that the universe gave me to better my life and to survive and fight. Because that's what it's all about. Like, I'm a fighter, and whether that means everyone's like, oh, they're just topless photos, you want attention. Nobody, I'm a fighter, and this is the tool that's given to me in right this moment to elevate my life. People want to say that they can do, oh, I'll do anything. Would you? Would you really? Because I've been in those positions and look where I'm at. Like, you've got to sometimes do some things, not to say that I don't not want to do it and do want to do it, but I understand that it's a tool. And I think being able to bring body confidence, how many people look in the mirror and are like, oh, I'm fucking disgusting. You know how many chicks I hear say that about them? And to be able to just help someone have, like, understand that their body is beautiful through my own expression, like, that's a huge thing. Because if everybody's like more happy and confident, they're not lagging on somebody else anymore. So I'm sure I piss a lot of people off, but I know that even through the OnlyFans stuff, when they see the actual photos, they're like, oh, they're beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what I want to promote. I want people to see that the human body is its own little beautiful alien fleshy vessel, you know? So no, I hope I hope forever I'm always like, oh, I did it. Because I'm not going to look like that forever, you know? Like, there's going to come a time where I'm thinking I'm still gangster about to lift something like I usually do. And I'm going to have to go, oh my gosh, I need to ask someone to help me. I need, you know, like, that's going to come. So, you know, I'm going to live up the next few years as the alpha that I am, and really like enjoy my body and enjoy where my mental state and my hormones and everything has aligned. Yeah, shame on anyone if they try and make me feel bad.
Ty, I mean, just like, heck yeah. That's all I thought
Yeah.
listening to that. You know what? No, I think it's an amazing thing, in all honesty. And I think that, you know what? If you feel that confident and you're good with it, more power to you. And I think that goes for anybody out there, you know, for whatever you're posting in at all levels. You know, not saying you got to go full Tai Emery, but for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the bare knuckle business. I mean, we heard some rumblings, maybe a Grand Prix, maybe a tournament type of deal. And you're going to be fighting at flyweight, 125 pounds, correct?
That's
I
correct.
mean, so let's talk about it. I mean, we got Paige Van Zandt, Rachel Ostovich, the
We
returning queen
we
of
have
bare
the
knuckle,
division. We have
Britain
the
Hart.
division.
Who do you want? Night one, who does Tai Emery want to get in there and toe the line with?
I think right now, considering I'm still so new to fighting and still green, I really think that I don't know who, but I know that I should be matched where someone where I'm like, I don't think I should be thrown straight to the big guns. I think that would be silly. Everybody knows that there's a process and there's a way of learning. In fighting, we all know that. I think throwing myself in and getting myself completely knocked out or beat up is really going to like hinder some sort of growth and development in a sporting sense. So I don't know. I think, honestly, I really don't know. I've never really been one to call out names unless some girl's like, yo, bitch, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Then I'll be like, oh, guess what? Cop hawk now. Like, you know, I don't know.
What did they do?
Really
What did they throw you in that tournament? You, Pro Gonzalez, Beck, Paige, Rachel, and you know what? You're telling me you don't want to be the one to be like, you know what? I want Rachel Ostovich. I want this. I want to take out the queen. I want Beck. That hasn't crossed your mind at all. I know it has to have. I know you're a competitor.
I've already had them kind of say, they're like, oh, yes, bare knuckle queen. And I was like, what's this queen shit? And I was like, Beck's the queen. I was like, I'm the queen of the underworld. So I've already kind of like played that off as a joke because I'm not going to take my friend's crown. Are you guys crazy? I'm happy. Like, I'm happy with just like where things are. Obviously, if I'm thrown into a tournament, then all hell's play. Like, this is the gondola. Like, I watched Gladiator every day as a kid for this shit. So I don't know. Yeah, I really, honestly, I don't know. Don't care. I'm happy to be signed. I'm happy to be promoting and building like a legacy for like the next generation.
If Tai Emery can look into her crystal ball for me, when do we see her get in that bare knuckle ring? Sorry.
December. Whispers are December, and they should be knowing within the next 2 weeks.
My final question, are you done with MMA?
I hope not. Hey, but I really hope not because I love jiu-jitsu. I love grappling. There's something so freeing when you're rolling with someone and your technique is just coming through. Like, honestly, it's so different when you're coming to ground. And I love MMA because for my body, I can do these crazy, amazing things with it, you know? So I think to honor like what my body can do and what it wants to do, MMA has that freedom of expression in all aspects because it's standing and ground. But to be honest, like I've always loved boxing. I've loved boxing. I purposely only did Muay Thai because I never kicked, and I was, you know, strict on knowing that I needed to develop my entire game. But I love boxing. I love hands. That's how I trained for football as well because I was a linebacker. So I was really adamant on doing boxing training for fast hands because we're so close to everyone. And also there was, in Maori history, they did 3 subjects: wrestling, boxing, and basket weaving. So maybe there's something for me like that's inside where I'm like, ooh, you know, like, and to be honest, knowing that Bare Knuckles like is the first big promotion to go, we want her. I think for me, I have so much honor and respect for those people that, you know, give someone just a chance. Do you know how many people have just given me a chance and what I've been able to make it and turn it into tenfold? So for as long as Bare Knuckles wants to keep me, I would love to just continue to help build them because they're the people that, you know, went out on a limb and gave me that chance to shine.
Well, Tai, I speak for a lot of people. If you don't know, you're about to. You bring it. You are one of the most passionate people I know about this game. So I know that putting you in an environment like BKFC, you're only going to thrive there. So we'll definitely have to speak soon. We'll have to talk about what comes next when we have an opponent, everything else. But Until then, congratulations once again, ladies and gentlemen, the latest addition to BKFC, Tai Emery. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.